Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PBTV. I'm Stu. This is a very different live stream. This is a request from yesterday, but it's probably going to be a regular feature on our show. Is a staff loadout live stream. We're going to go through the kit of all the members of staff and what they run and everything like that. And we're going to start off with myself because someone asked for it yesterday. So I've brought all the kit that I normally run on a standard game day or maybe a weekender without the batteries, BBs, and everything like that. So this is the stuff I will take to every event. My platforms, one of the ones that I'm currently in the process of making and building up, and I've got my original one behind me, my vest and stuff that I wear, some other equipment, U-backs, trousers, and some other little accessories that I find exceptionally useful. As always, if you have any questions at all, please drop them down below and we will flash them up on screen and we'll have a little chat about loadouts, what you want, what you find really useful, what I find really useful. And if you've got a question or a comment about anything I use, by all means, drop it down and we will answer it as quickly as possible. So the first thing I will go on to is my rig. So this is the thing that I carry all the equipment with me whilst I'm at game days, whether it's mags, pyro, speed loaders, anything like that that I find essential, regardless of what platform I'm using. This is what it all goes in. There's a couple of different features on this that I really like, and it's the reason why I went for this one. We did have this one on the website a while ago, and the reason why I went for the Templar, which is what this is, the Templar Gears rock system, is the toggle style system that's on it. So once you've got this thing set up, these little plastic toggles, you pull them away, pull them down, and it snaps apart, meaning that you don't have to lift up the any of your Velcro or anything like that. It is permanently set in place. Which some people, that if you've used other bits and bats before, other rigs and everything, every time you put it on, it feels like it's in a little different setup, and it kind of bugged me a little bit. So I went for something that was permanently set up, and it's just very easy to take off. Afterwards, you just pull that clip, and it almost drops off you. It's very easy. Personally, I do run plates in it, so I've got weighted plates in there. The main reason for that is purely so it sits on me better. I've always found if I don't wear plates, if I don't wear anything inside the vest, it sort of rides up and ends up here rather than sitting properly on your body. Wear one of them front and back, and I've then got one of the Mark III systems. You've probably seen these on the website as well, stripped down and just using the main panel at the front that is then clipped onto the rig. This is super useful purely because regardless of what platform I'm running, I can change the inserts. It's just got everything I need for every single game day. So obviously currently I've not got my insert in there, so there's loads of space, so I can just drop anything I want. The Velcro inserts that come with it, or you can get Viper VX ones. There's loads of different variants of it. You can throw an M4 one in, you can throw a 308 one in and put sniper mags in, anything like that. So I've just currently thrown one of my M4 mags in there just to show you where it sits. There's a separate pouch in the front there. Various things sit in there, whether or not it's pyro, maps of sites, because I know a few sites are now issuing maps. Especially, it's really good if you've never ever been to a site before. Go on Google Maps, especially if it's a CQB site, an urban site, or an old RAF base. Just get yourself a screenshot of Google Maps and just throw it on there, mark a few bits out, keep it on you, and it just lets you cut around site a little bit easier. And I just store something like that in there. A few patches that I've got over the years, and then I have a little dangler down here. You can get various different ones. I think this is an old Haley one, but you can get Viper ones, you can get DCX ones, all sorts of bits. And purely this has one purpose, and that is to store my speed loader in it. So I run an Odin with the silicon insert, so that when it is full, it doesn't have as much rattle, and you can just keep that on you. This allows me to run less mags, and I think it's just an invaluable bit of kit. It doesn't rattle that much, it doesn't give you position away, it just sits in there and you're good to go. And with the Odin and with the Sidewinder speed loaders, I'm able to reload probably all 4 of my mags in under a minute. Basically had friends put cover fire at a door, giving me a chance to reload 3 or 4 mags, and we're good to go. And even with we've got questions coming in. Reaper, hi. What's the adjustment like as I'm very heavily built. I presume that you're on about the plate carrier. On this one, there's absolutely tons. I think in my setup with my size, I'm probably on one of the smallest settings available on it. The shoulder straps I've never ever adjusted, and I think they can probably double. If you're on about like the Mark III or something, the micro rig, when someone says something's one size fits all, I think they invented that term for the micro rig. It's got that much adjustment. I've never known it not fit anyone that I've seen on an airsoft field. The micro's really good. The Templar's really good. And even at the back here, there's a little bit of elasticated material. So when you do stick it on, it is nice and tight. But yeah, so the Invader plate carrier, the micro, and the dangler are just absolutely every time, everywhere I go, it's just been just at no point have I wanted to swap it out. And that's the one thing I will tell players to do. If something isn't quite right, don't feel like you have to keep using it. Move it around, adjust it, just change your game up a little bit, and you'll find the really good way to do it. So I'll go onto my primary platform. So we will have a look at my current platform, my primary. So this is my pretty much from scratch built PTW Systema. So it's a Systema gearbox with a forged receiver, Fortis rail, and then some basic accessories on it. So the reason why I went for this, I had one many years ago and then got rid of it, regretted it, and then got it back again. And basically, it's trigger response and bolt stop and everything like that. A lot of people will look at these now, and the technology is in these is very old and it has been overtaken by a lot of modern platforms, like say the Evo, ERGs, Tokyo Marui, and things like that. It is purely the build quality of this. It feels like a tank. It's built like a tank, and it's just never ever let me down. I've never pulled the trigger and a BB not come out the end. So it's just been one of my absolute go-tos. I will come to my original rifle at the back there and why I swapped from that to this. But it's at that perfect size where this can be run indoors, outdoors, and just have loads of fun with it. It normally run .32s, so Razors have been really good for me. Vorsk have been really good for me. I've just had the best results with them. That does not mean that they are the best BB in the world. It's always test every single BB brand out there. If someone says a BB brand is naff or rubbish or anything like that, just try it out, test it out, and get your own experience on it. You're only going to know if something's good is if you test it, not listening to what other people say. For example, red dot and magnifier. So I run a micro red dot, a micro magnifier, and a red dot on this, so I can just drop it backwards and forwards out the way, and I have two different sets of magnification. So I've got my 1x, which is just a dot. I can run around, put that dot where I want it, and put a BB where I want it. If I go static and I'm outside, I can just flick this over. Very simple, and I've got 3x. Helps with making sure I can see where that BB is flying a little bit further, can aim off a little bit, I can scout through tree lines, scout through bush lines, and just make sure that first shot that I do loose off is going exactly where I want it. A few other bits on this, I do have flip-up sights. Again, always recommend throwing these on, purely because if this goes down, either it gets shot, the battery runs out, anything like that, I accidentally leave it turned on in my case, which I do all the time, and go to an airsoft day with no batteries. I can always flip my iron sights up and still have a decent day. Coming to the front, I do have the Nuprol PEC box on there. This became a replacement for the torch that I had on the side of it. It's a bit more ergonomic. I did used to have a sort of Element and Nuprol torch on the side here. I can't remember which one it was. And I replaced it with this purely because I was exceptionally surprised with how bright the torch on this is. It completely replaced the need to have a separate standalone torch. And again, red laser, IR laser for other devices that I have. It's just super useful to have everything in one simple unit. And this is the pad is on the left hand side here, so I can activate it there or I can activate it on the top. The elastic bands, again, just keep it in place. They do come in the box with it, so again, super useful. And I basically trap the pressure pad in between my iron sights and a bit of the rail. Sits in there really nice, and then I neaten all the wires up with the elastic band. Again, with this being a PTW style system. It does have a bolt lock system, so when the mags, this is one of the original bolt lock systems. As I was saying, the technology in this has got a little bit old and has been overtaken by many other brands, so don't think this is the be all and end all. I just really enjoy using it. If you're looking for something with that realism or immersion, look at the Tokyo Marui, look at the PTS and anything else that has bolt stop in it. This was just one of the originals. And you will find that they are slightly different mags as well, so they have a slightly different feed system. And again, internally, rather than it being a version 2 gearbox or anything in this, it runs off little cylinders. So another reason why I really like this is because various different places I go, whether or not it's UK, Milsims, go and play in the States or anything like that, I've played in France, Denmark, all over the place, been very, very lucky to be able to do stuff like that. I can have different little cylinders. So this cracks open the same as a gas blowback, and you can swap these out, giving you different FPSs, different powers and everything like that. So for example, I have the one that's in there. It sits about 330 FPS on a 2 and drops to, I think it's about 260 on a 3.2, so it's well under the limit. And then if I go to the States or go to a Milsim or somewhere that allows the 370, I have a separate cylinder. Again, it's all down to the player. You're not going to change this during a game and try and be funny or anything like that. It's just not worth it. You're just going to hurt people when it's not necessary. So again, going to the US, you're allowed 1.55 joules on a 2.5. So again, I needed a little bit more power, and I got a different cylinder to be able to do that. Going to Denmark, again, different power limits and everything. And again, with this, you can change internally for it to be semi-auto. So if I ever went to Germany, or if I went to a certain country that only allowed semi-auto, I'm able to do that with this. It's just one of the reasons why I chose that. It just gives me a bit more freedom and not have to find something out there or borrow when I'm out there. Another question off YouTube. Where did you get the large patch, the one that says UK? So my Patriot patch, this one here, a mate of mine who's probably in the chat now, I think, sorted out getting these made. He made the entire team. He got them all made for the team. So I can't honestly remember where I got them made, but I think Pegasus, if you're in the chat, he may probably know where they were got from. But we got them for the entire team with all his names on it. Pegasus, what's your favourite bit of kit? I think you know what my favourite bit of kit is, Ash, and it's definitely this. If I was to pick an individual bit of kit rather than my platform, I'd probably go with the Air Defenders. People who play alongside me, and I think some of the guys that play with me understand how much fun we have with pyrotechnics and everything like that. And I am a very, very big advocate that ear protection should be as mandatory, if not more mandatory, than eye protection. There's a lot of loud bangs out there. There's a lot of very close buildings, BFGs and everything like that with 9mm and everything in an enclosed space. It's just one of them things that it's not. Maybe not favourite bit of kit, but my most essential bit of kit is probably Ear Pro. It's just one of them really cool bits. Sam, do you see the point in weighted plates? Yes, because I prefer airsoft than going to a gym. I'd rather spend my time having fun and do exercise at the same time than going to a gym or just going out running on an evening or something like that. And essentially what I feel like is wasting my own personal time. If I can do a little bit more whilst I'm having fun, so during an airsoft day, you're out there for 4 to 6 hours, you add some weighted plates in there, it's pretty much the same as a full session in the gym, and I've definitely felt the benefits from it. The secondary part of that is it makes my plate carrier fit me better. So the weight pulling it down means it sits properly, it doesn't ride up, it doesn't shift, it doesn't move, it sits where exactly I put it. So I do really, really enjoy and do rate the plates a lot. Do you have any recommendations for waterproof hard-wearing torch? Sorry, that's Reaper on YouTube. There's a couple of examples. I know the New Prol torch has definitely had a test in the past. That was definitely given a couple of dunks. And that turned out fine. The pec box I've got there has been drowned numerous times at game days and has come out totally fine. But there are various different brands out there that have survived some very extreme tests. But I know the Newport pec boxes, the torch on that is deceptively like amazing. When I put that on, I started using the torch on that. I just completely got rid of the other torch that was on the side because it became obsolete. So this now has white light, red laser and IR laser all in one little platform, and I don't need anything else. And trust me, that's been submerged and drenched in rain multiple times, and it's been absolutely fine. I've not even had to replace the pressure pad yet, and I think, not including last year, but I think that's probably been on there about 2.5 years. So it's definitely a highly recommended white light, is that. So coming on to my current project is this. It does look slightly different. It's definitely a work in progress. I've still got a few bits to do to it, but this is my Tokyo Marui MWS. So this is my gas blowback. Again, purely designed this for CQB. And obviously I've done some various different bits to it. It does have the collapsing stock that is spring loaded, so that comes out. Put a shorter rail on it, and obviously you can see I have changed it to run on 9mm mags. So instead of the big M4 ones, it runs on EU series, Pro-Win EU series mags, and it's just very, very cool. A lot of fun indoors. Just gas blowback's a load of fun in it, so this is purely what this is. It's probably not something I would run at a serious day or somewhere where I'm with a load of mates and we're trying to achieve something. This is purely up at a CQB site, a couple of hour-long games. This is a lot of fun, and it's just something I'm currently putting together. So that is my gas blowback MWS. That is a hell of a lot of fun. So coming on to a few other essential bits. Obviously you can see I've got my helmet on my left hand side here. Again, someone asked about my most essential favourite bit of kit is the headset. Had multiple headsets over the years, Peltors, a couple of sets of the M32s, the all sorts of bits. And as much as I really do like the Peltors and everything like that, I've just had too many problems with them, and I'd rather have a cheap set that I can easily replace than an expensive set that is harder to replace. The comms on it are alright if you're wanting to plug radios in. You can have the down lead, attach your PTT, plug any radio into it. That is a completely different live stream, talking about radios and everything, because radios baffle me and I always give it to someone else in the team to sort out because they just don't work with me. They don't click in my head. The helmet itself is one of the PTS Flux helmets. I did have something recently that was different to this, and I wanted to stick with it because I really liked the helmet, and I was fighting with it, trying to get it to work, all sorts of pads, FMA, gel pads, all sorts, and I really did like it. I didn't want to get rid of it. Tried one of these on and everything just dropped into place and it fit perfectly. So I made the swap. Rhino mount with the NV on the top in case I ever go to a mil sim. And obviously in the box here I'll come to the cameras and etc. So normally this doesn't sit on here. Drop this off and you can stick a GoPro or anything you want on there. But it is a lot of fun running around cutting through bushes and tree lines with night vision on. And again, that comes to the Newport pec box that does have IR, exceptionally cheap for an IR laser. Very bright, very clear, and easily zeroable through the MV, and very accurate, and it does stay zeroed very well even on this. So it's a very budget friendly way of getting into that sort of system. Eye protection, I've got a couple. So again, both of them are Bolly. Bolly are probably the leaders when it comes to eye protection in general, not Airsoft, just they are the eye protection company. So it's one of them ones that if someone is the expert in it, I will try and stick with them. So I do have a clear set and I do have a shade set depending on weather and everything like that. The reason why, again, going for Bolly, they do have 3 different types of eye protection. They've got low, medium and high impact. Please be aware, low impact Bollies are not suitable for Airsoft. So just check your box. We took all of them off the website to make sure that we don't accidentally pass any out because they are only rated for 0.8 joules. So make sure you are running medium to high impact Bolly glasses. And again, at proving grounds and a lot of sites when I go, try and run what we deem as what's called full seal. So not necessarily foam or everything that cuts around. Just don't make sure there's no gaps in your iPro, guys. It's obvious why, but just try as many different sets of iPro as you can, and make sure you get the one that's safest and most comfortable for you. The X-Fog on the back of here, I've got the pouch on the back. So my X-Fog sits in the back. Again, I'm very, very lucky and don't fog up that much. But if I ever get into a very tight environment inside buildings, crawling under through bushes and etc., and everything gets cramped, there is a chance that I'm going to fog up then. Or if I go static, the heat and everything can cause fogging. So the best way to stop fogging is to keep moving, or stick an X-Fog on the back of your helmet, purely because the airflow is what defogs everything. So what you'll find, if you start fogging up, if you start moving around, it's sort of the airflow, that is enough airflow to stop the fogging, and the X-Fog just gives you a permanent gentle flow of air over everything. Flynn, do you have lower face protection with your helmet? So happy to see after you asked yesterday. Yes, this loadout video is a request from Flynn yesterday, and it's really cool that we get to do stuff like this. Personally, I would highly recommend everyone wears lower face. I just don't, and that's my choice, purely for a couple of reasons. One, if I wear lower face, I get way too hot, way too uncomfortable, and I get really grumpy, and it's not fun. Purely because just blowing hot air into my own face, it just doesn't work for me. So I accept the risk of getting a BB all up in here, and I'm not allowed to complain about it because I've decided not to wear it. Again, highly recommend that you do wear lower face, because it stops teeth, it stops... I think I've probably got one from the weekend. Got shot in the nose, and it sucked. But I had to walk away and hold my anger, because it happens to everyone. When you get hit, the little spike of pain, the red mist comes up, and you've just got to stem it down. And not wearing a lower face, it risks that coming out a little bit more. But again, I don't wear one because I just get too hot, I get too flustered, and it just adds to the fogging problem as well. If you've got something over your mouth, you're just blowing hot air into your glasses and everything like that. The only time I will go out with lower face, if I'm playing at a CQB site or somewhere where I know there's going to be very, very tight engagements through doors, upstairs, round corners, I will wear a shmag or a buff or something around my neck and just lift it up as I look through a door and then drop it back down. But I won't cut around with it up permanently. And again, that's purely because I know there's a much, much higher risk of it happening, so I take the risk of not wearing it. But highly recommend having some form of lower face protection on you at all times. And there's loads out there now as well, so you can either just wear a buff. There's loads of ones that have got little bits of metal and everything like that in it, little mesh, all sorts of like micro ones. Just every one that I've tried, it just makes me get too warm, too flustered, hot and bothered, and not really enjoy it that much. So I don't wear it, unfortunately. Coming to another bit, so gear wise, I wear a U-back under my gear, so lucky enough to find myself some night grid. Again, it's just a personal choice. It's either this or multicam is my normal go-to. So OD, multicam, or anything like that. Very, very cool. Another really cool bit of kit that I really, really like is my very, very basic belt setup. So running something like this, it is Velcroed, so I run a Velcro inner belt. This goes round and then sits on the side. So I've got my high cap on the side, dump pouch on the back, which is not normally used for mags. I don't usually dump my mags in here. This is normally for pyro, smoke, or anything like that. It is more of just an admin pouch that's easily accessible rather than dumping mags in there, because if you haven't got time to dump a mag back into your pouch, just drop it on the floor and deal with that later, because throwing a mag into a dump pouch like this, you can probably get it back into your rig. So this is more of a very, very large admin pouch. So it's as super basic as it can get. I've got my security lanyard on there. A lot of people ask me why I run one of these. So these are normally for high altitude safety, if you're up the side of a building or anything like that. Or I was due to go to the States last year, and there were helicopters in the game environment, and you were allowed to ride them, you're allowed to shoot out of them. It's very, very cool, but unfortunately it got cancelled because of the pandemic, etc. And you had to have one of these on your gear to be able to go on it. Again, sit down there, you just clip yourself on. It's a safety lanyard. It's as simple as that. Ugh. Very, very basic. Not one for showy or all the accessories in the world sidearms, so I just stick with the super basic high capper. I've got this one, and I've got a slightly different one. This one was borrowed off the other half, so sorry Emma, but it's now mine. So yeah, that sits in there. Again, comes in really useful. I only carry the single mag for it. I don't really feel the need to throw extra ones in there. Every time I've used it, I've not usually got through more than one mag in that before I've managed to go to a safe zone, reload it, and everything like that. So it's just a very, very simple setup. I did have a mag pouch on the left-hand side here, but the last game day, it broke, so I took it off. So I normally have a ready mag on my left-hand side, so it's just an easy way to grab a magazine rather than getting one out of my rig. There's always one on my left-hand side, which is where that hand comes in handy. When it comes to pyro and everything like that, everyone that has played alongside me knows I do love a bit of pyro, so therefore a way to ease the budget on that is to get something reusable. So I have one of these. I do have a tremor, VTGs, all sorts of this. I've got maybe 3 or 4 reusable grenades. Again, it's not something that we've touched on in the past, but again, very, very cool. And these are just very, very useful. So this one's timed, and again, the VTGs are impact, so you can just drop them in a room and clear it. Various different rules on pyrotechnics, etc., and reusable. Again, if you're going to go to a site, make sure you're using the right load inside. Don't be using something too loud. Again, this is a reason why I think ear protection should be as mandatory as sort of lower face, etc., and should be a much more thought about thing. But again, 209s, 9mm. These are all UK standard. Anything higher than that is probably for milsim or effect use, really. But yes, a lot of fun and make game days really, really cool. Coming on to security and stuff like that. So if on our website you'll see loads and loads and loads of para cases and things like that. Highly recommend these for when you go into game days, etc. You can just fit loads of little bits in them, batteries, cameras, all sorts of little bits of admin that you don't want to be rattling around inside a backpack or a rifle slip or anything like that. So in here, I just keep a couple of spare little bits. So I have my little Predator camera. So this sits on my shoulder and films when I remember to put it on. I do have the GoPro variant to go onto the helmet as well with the GoPro if I ever remember to put it on. Again, I'm not one for filming full game days or anything like that. It's just every now and again I'll put it on so we can look back and see what was really, really cool. Again, normally something like this, store your batteries, store chargers, just it's one of them very, very budget-friendly items that are just exceptionally useful. A para case of this size is gonna, it's not gonna be much. You can pick them up very, 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 very easily, and it's just extra security. Again, if you're out in the field and you've got some expensive bits of kit, for example, and you're not using them, phone, wallet, keys, etc., throw them in this. Bang a coded padlock on there, and you've just got a bit of sort of peace of mind that they are secure at all times. So the last, Sam, is there any airsoft kit you don't have, which you have your eyes on? Yes. I don't know if we should point it out, but in the other room there is a new rifle that's turned up that I very, very much want. It's not on the website yet because we're waiting for other parts to turn up. But yeah, when that's online, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. It's one of them ones that people say is unskirmishable, but I really, really hope to prove them wrong with shells flying everywhere and having to go pick them up afterwards. But yes, there's a few bits and bats that I do really, really want. Are they essential? No. Are they going to be fun? Yes. It's what Airsoft's all about. Having a lot of fun, using quirky bits of kit, gas blowback. The PTW is just amazing. And my original one that I had many, many years, built by one of our old techs. So this is what I had made a few years ago. So this is my standard AEG. So this is just the standard version 2 in here with a gate tighten, etc. And this is probably just the most reliable AEG I've probably ever had my hands on. Built by one of our own techs who went on to build for some very famous airsofters. So we'll leave that where it is, and he's now off gallivanting around. But still absolutely love using it. It's also what I usually take if someone else's platform goes down. This quite easily comes out of a case and gets lent to a lot of people, hence why it's got a lot of beaten up marks and has been treated really, really well over the years, but it's still running absolutely perfectly. Flynn, would you ever use a grenade launcher on game days? Yes, I have one of the ASG ones. I've used tags before. I've used 40mm before. I've used all that stuff. It's a lot of fun, but what I've brought out today is stuff that I will take to every single event, not absolutely all my equipment, because we'd probably be here for hours. But yeah, launchers are a lot of fun. Especially 40mm if you want to get a Moscar or something like that, a Master Mic, something a little bit different. They're just hilarious, and it's all about having fun. So use the thing that gives you the biggest grin on your face, and if that's a launcher, then go for that. But if there are any final questions on gear, any recommendations, anything like that, please ask them. But yeah, so this has been my sort of loadout currently as it sits. The Invader Gear plate carrier, the PTW, which is just an absolute workhorse, and I love it. The helmet setup, again, when it comes to safety, we need to try and get a bit more of a positive attitude on safety equipment and PPE and stuff like that. We are doing a contact sport. We are doing quite an aggressive sport, so safety is a very, 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 very big issue. So when it comes to eye protection, make sure you're using something that is rated properly, is full seal, so it's got no gaps or in it. Please, everyone, if you've not touched ear protection yet, it is really, really good. You can attach comms to it. You can get the sound cancelling stuff, so you're not running around absolutely deaf. These things sort of cut off loud noises and increase quiet noises. So running around with these, you'll be able to hear people walking around on 2-3 floors above you or distances away in woodland. But yet, when the pyro starts going off, you'll still be able to hear it, but it'll be a much deader thud. So yeah, definitely a really, really good bit of kit. Low face, not one of my personal things that I use, but again, highly recommend it because I've taken the personal choice over playing over many, many years. I just don't get on with it. Its cons outweigh the pros for me, and I use it when it's absolutely essential at CQB or anything, but in a woodland, I just get too hot and sweaty. Kit protection, again, cases, I take these everywhere with me, whether or not it's just put my phone wallet keys in there whilst I'm out, etc. It's just a done thing. So any other questions, if you want to ask them now, by all means do. Oh, Reaper, do you ever use tracers? Yes, so in this one, so it might not look like it, but there is a tracer unit in here. So I took one of the XT301s and it sits perfectly in the muzzle brake. So when I'm running the standard AEG, I will definitely use tracers with this because it's just a lot of fun. Anything up to 2.8 tracers I've been absolutely loved. The PTW, I'll stick with 3.2s in there, so that's probably why I don't really run tracers in that. I prefer the look of a flash hider over the tracer units and everything like that. That's why you don't really see anything like this. I've not really put anything else apart from the muzzle brake on there. I just think it looks cooler, so hence why I don't run tracers in that. But because I managed to sneak a tracer unit into the AEG, it's just, it's really, really cool. The Scottish Cat, what's your preferred weight of BBs to use on the field? Depends on the platform. So with the PTW, the best results I've had with it, so it's not out of choice picking a weight. I've just tried loads of different ones in it, and the ones that it liked the best were the 3.2s. I got the speed it travels and the overall distance and accuracy were the best with that. With the AEG, 2.8s were actually my favourite. In a pistol, I'll stick to 2.8s or 3s just purely because it is a very, very short distance that BB has to travel, so you don't have to do anything weird with that. Yenix, what mags do you use? So, in the PTW, because it is a proprietary system, these are PTW EPM mags. So again, they only work with this. In the AEG, I have used the EPMs and the EPM1s. Both work absolutely amazingly. And in the gas blowback, because it is a sort of special build, they're Pro Win, so not really seen that well. But across most of my platforms, if an EPM fits, they're just really, really good. I've just really, really enjoyed using them. So EPMs wherever they can be fit. What type of pen you use for the 01 on the PTW? That is a very, very basic paint pen. You can get them from pretty much any stationery store. It's like a chalk pen, and it goes on and stays. But a mate of mine did that many, many moons ago, and it stuck. So you can get them from pretty much stationery stores. They're either called paint pens or chalk pens, and you can get them in various different colours. Pegasus, Ash, I really should wear a helmet more often, just hard to find something I feel comfortable in. Try a Flux Sash, they're amazing. There's loads of different customization on the inside, so there are 3 layers of things that you have to stick inside this. You've got the Velcro bit, the cushion bit, and then you get the gel pads. I've not put any of the gel pads in this. I just sit with the cushions, and it fits me perfectly. So if you're looking for something that's massively customizable, get yourself one of these. It's a load of fun. You can get all the accessories on it. You can stick your pouches, patches and everything. The X-Fog sitting on the back is a massive added bonus, and it just stops me fogging up. And it might stop you banging your head too much against things like this. So if that is everything for today, if there's no final questions, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. If there's anything that we've missed, we will try and get to you and get you a reply. If there's something you want more specifically to ask about anything you've seen today or something you want to see on the live streams, by all means drop us a message on Instagram. It's the quickest way to get to us about things like this. If it's about an order, just ring customer services. It's the best way to get information about your order. So we are off for the weekend. If anyone is at HQ, I will be there on Sunday having a lot of fun. So if you're there about, come say hello. We'll shoot together and have a lot of fun. But if that's everything, I'll be back again on Monday at around 4 p.m. If there's anything you want us to look at, drop us a message on Instagram. We'll throw it to the top of the list and make sure it gets done. As you can see, this was a request from yesterday, and we put it together really quick because we like talking about our stuff and what you want to talk about. So if that's everything, always a pleasure, and I'll see you in a bit.